estate of the deceased James Gachagua.
Let me go back to the beginning. You're a lawyer by profession.
Yes, I am.
You know that, okay, how many shares does Keith Ikinregard hold? According to your own exhibit. It may be getting hotter, but look at the document, compose yourself, and read. How many shares does Kevin Gachagua regard hold according to your own exhibit?
They are not indicated.
What is the total number of shares in that company?
10,000.
Who is indicated as owning all those 10,000 shares?
They were shareholding by the estate of the deceased James Gachagua.
It is the estate of the deceased James Gachagua. True or not true?
They own 10,000 shares.
What is the total number of shareholding?
10,000.
10,000. So they own all the shares. The estate of the late James Gachagua owns all the shares according to your document.
Document which appears so.
Do you doubt this document you have given us?
No, I don't doubt it.
Thank you. The deputy president then in defense says, this is a The deputy president says, this is a company owned by the estate of my late brother. Looking at your own document, is the deputy president saying the truth or is he not saying the truth? Remember, you're a lawyer all the time.
The estate of the deceased James Gachagua owns 10,000 shares.
Out of how many shares?
I would invoke
10,000 shares. Out of how many?
10,000.
Mr. Mutuse, told me you are a lawyer.
Yes.
And let's be lawyers now.
Yes.
My deceased brother. Is he speaking the truth or not according to your document?
It's either yes or no. We made progress. We moved on the road.
Yes.
You have a problem with this company. You have from your company law knowledge, do you know the role of directors in a company?
Yes, I do.
What directors play in a company?
The management.
Correct.
The leadership.
What is wrong with these two boys managing this company on behalf of the shareholders who are disclosed? What is wrong against the law?
There is nothing wrong.
To deduct it now from that, because you can now see who owns it. So, I was proceeding for you to stop me deal with you, and I've dealt with it. I hope to your satisfaction. Are you satisfied?
We can proceed.
Heartland Supplies Limited, what problem do you have with it?
If you could remind us, that was page?
Oh, sorry, page 20 of 85, company number 14.
Volume 1, yeah?
Volume 1, yes.
Company number?
Number 14.
Company number 14. Just to confirm, we are on the same page. This is Heartland Supplies Limited.
Yes.
We have no quarrel with Heartland Supplies.
Page 21, paragraph 17, Mothers of the Land Limited. What problem do you have with it?
We have no quarrel with Mothers of the Land.
Number 18, Pioneer Medical Kenya Limited. What problem do you have with it?
We don't have a problem with it.
Overleaf, page 22, Reader Furniture Mart Limited. What problem do you have with it?
We do not have a problem with it.
Royal Crimson Ventures Limited. What problem do you have with it?
No, not a...
You listed all these companies just to create a screaming headline for your motion with no problem with them.
We listed all these companies to show that they are associated with persons close to the Deputy President and that they are companies that are either used or can potentially be used for purposes of corruption and money laundering.
Corruption is preventive.
Indeed, we are addressing fears.
You have come here to address fears that they may use this company in future to commit corruption.
Indeed, yes.
That's why you want this Senate to impeach the DP on this ground.
There are some that we have shown.
I've taken a number of companies, Mr. Mutuse. I've taken a number of companies, yes, but one by one.
Yes.
You have said you have no problem with them.
We have no problem with the ones that we have said we have no problem with.
His Excellency awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Kenya Limited. Was Crystal Kenya Limited a bidder for this tender?
It is a local representative.
Is it a bidder? You know the meaning of the word bidder?
It is not a bidder.
Yeah, we make progress. We respond, we make progress.
So let's read the allegation, the particulars.
Yes.
It says, His Excellency Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding a Crystal Kenya Limited, in fact, awarded that tender.
They were not a bidder.
Were they in fact awarded that tender as your ground alleges?
No, they were not.
So why are you alleging that they were bullied into awarding the tender? Why are you alleging when they were not awarded?
The notice of Shobika, the company that is under investigation for this tender.
Your ground says His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied KEMSA officials into awarding a tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Kenya Limited, his proxy company, full stop. Is that
It is true to the extent that they are
it is
local
true
representatives.
that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua bullied KEMSA to award a tender to Crystal Kenya Limited, that KEMSA was bullied to award a tender to Crystal Kenya Limited, full stop. Am I reading it correctly, by the way?
You are reading it correctly?
Is that what I have read correctly itself true? You also say that Crystal Limited had submitted a fake big bid bond with the sole intention of fraudulent.
An irregular bid bond.
What do you mean by an irregular bid bond?
Bid bond that was found not to meet the requirements.
What was the irregularity that was found with that bid bond? There was a specific irregularity. What was it?
It was brought
Saying, are you sure of that fact? Because you are on oath.
in so far as I know.
No, are you sure of the fact? To the run of time. I must ask, are you sure of the fact that it was brought out of time?
As far as I know.
You referred us to the letter by KEMSA terminating that bid. Do you remember?
Yes.
Can you draw us to that letter, the volume number and the page where it is? And counsel is talking to the witness, and you can see he's actually answering the question. He's a junior colleague. He's engaged in extremely unethical behavior that should not be done in a small claims court. Forget about a country's senate. You've seen it with your own eyes.
Counsel for the Deputy President. I cannot hear exactly what was exchanged.
Okay.
Make progress.
Yes. I'm coming to this shortly.
Andrew Mura was the acting CEO of KEMSA at the time.
I've asked for the letter from KEMSA rejecting the bid, the letter, the free letter. As you refer to the letter by KEMSA,
In fact, I referred us to the messages from Honorable Rigathi Gachagua's son to the children, to the CEO.
let's go to that directly. Let's just go to that issue directly, that we finish with it now that you have raised it. One,
Yes, indeed.
from which phone number is that message coming?
It's, it needs to be read
But from which phone number? You know a phone number?
with paragraph 4
I've asked from which phone number. Just give me the phone number.
plus
It is sending the message.
plus 254 717 871 036.
I'm asking at that page, we can see a screenshot of a message. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I now want to deal with the document I had looked at earlier. Let's look at volume 3 of the governor's, the deputy. Look at volume 3 of the deputy president's documents at page 180. From KEMSA.
Yes, on the face of it.
It is addressed to Shopika Impex Private Limited.
Yes.
The reason? It says, reference is made to the above, sorry, my apologies, we are looking at page 180 of volume 3 of the Deputy President's documents. And it's been projected on the screen. For those of us who can read the font on the screen, it's been projected on the screen. It is setting out the reason why that bid was. That's what you are calling a fake bid document.
You are sure?
I'm asking, this reason is what you are saying constitutes a fake bid document.
Of course, if the tender security was not coordinated,
Yes.
it is irregular.
Are you saying it is fake?
It is irregular.
Then I'm asking my friend one, are you saying you want this sentence to conclude that this attribute, failing to put a page number on a bid document, made it fake?
It made it irregular.
I'm asking a different, the word you have used in the motion is fake. We are trying the motion.
No, but irregular.
Thank you. Your statement in the motion, therefore, that was fake is not true. It's false. Your statement in the motion that was fake is false.
Strictly yes.
Thank you. To a fairly different limb of argument. And this is now let's go to the question of Olive Gardens Hotel. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We have some massive documents here. Sometimes you... According to Peterson Njomo Mushira, how did he acquire this property? Rather, how did his company, that's the correct way of putting it, isn't it? Came Engineering, yes? How did his company acquire this property? The process of acquisition.
He says he entered into a secret arrangement with the Honorable Gachagua to purchase the property on their...
Who was purchasing the property?
On the understanding that...
No, I'm asking a different question. Who was purchasing the property?
That TM Engineering.
The purchaser of the property is Team Engineering.
Yes.
Who is the registered proprietor of the property?
Let me confirm.
Who is the registered proprietor of the property, Olive Gardens Hotel?
I'm tracing the document. Olive Gardens, the registered proprietor, Philip Wanjama Kago.
Sorry? Can you reverse the page, the volume and page you're looking at?
This is volume 2A.
Is that?
Is Philip Wanjama Kago.
I'm asking, who is he? Do you know him?
I don't.
Let's look at your affidavit of Njomo. First, you concede, he says the deputy president requested him to buy the property. Requested him to buy the property as a fact.
In the deputy response.
I'm talking about what Njomo is saying. Njomo is saying the deputy president requested him to buy the property.
We entered into a secret arrangement.
Requested him
on certain terms of a secret arrangement, according to you.
That the arrangement was that?
The deputy president would buy the hotel.
Would buy the hotel from him.
By refunding the
would buy the hotel from him by refunding the money.
Yes.
Has he in fact bought it?
He would be the correct.
As he, you are the motion mover. You are here with it.
I would imagine so.
When did he buy it?
I do not know.
Oh, you want these senators to impeach this deputy president on your imagination?
I have said, and there is nothing wrong with not knowing. I do not know.
Does Mr. Peterson Jomo Mushira say that in fact the DP has bought this hotel? Does he say so, that in fact the DP has bought this hotel?
He says.
Does he say that in fact the DP has bought this hotel, yes or no?
He says.
Does he say that the DP has in fact bought this hotel, yes or no?
He says that the deputy president would buy the hotel from me by refunding the purchase price.
Yes?
He also goes.
If we believe Jomo,
Yes.
what he's saying there, this is a promise for a future.
It would appear so. But
Has that future come? Has that transaction happened to your knowledge?
I believe so.
What's the basis of your belief?
Your own response.
Sorry?
In your response, in the DP's response, you say.
The DP said he has bought that property.
Was-
But what the DP is telling us, it was bought by TM Engineering, and what Jomo is telling us, it was bought by TM Engineering, factually are the same.
Actually, are the same.
Then Jomo is bringing a new perspective to it, that the DP promised him, in future, I will buy back this hotel. Yes?
And that's why he's saying.
Jomo is saying, the DP then, when I bought this hotel,
Yes.
the DP then told me, I intend to buy it back in future. Ask him to? Ask him to do what?
He points to ask him
To do what?
to launder.
Sorry?
To ask him to hide the transaction because
Let's also just be basic, sensible people. If we wanted, we would just have bought it immediately.
Yes.
Isn't a promise to buy in the future itself, on the face of it, evidence of lack of immediate money? On the face of it. It's a promise to buy in the future, on the face of it.
Jomo says we have a secret because we do not want to assume what Jomo is saying. Jomo is saying in his affidavit there was a secret arrangement that I covered for the deputy president. I buy it to be registered in my company, and then he refunds me my money.
Has that refund been done? It's around March 2023 from the affidavit. Is that not true?
All around that first March.
More than 1.5 years ago.
Yes.
To date, your thorough investigation to support a motion to remove the DP from office has not revealed evidence that the DP has in fact bought the hotel. You want us to imagine he has bought it, yes?
My allegation is that he bought through proxy, and the proxy says, indeed, I have a secret arrangement with the deputy president to buy the hotel on his behalf as a proxy. And I did not allege that it has been transferred to the deputy president. I said it's an intricate web of economic crimes, white-collar crimes, that are secret.
This promise to buy a hotel in future is white-collar crime.
Indeed, economic crimes are white-collar crimes.
I'm asking, this promise to buy a hotel in future is a white-collar crime.
It is part of the scheme to hide the real owners of the property.
So let me wind up this argument because my time is running out.
Indeed.
You have also told us that even if we gave him the best possible assumption, he would be having 24 million shillings in his account because that's salaries.
The known sources of income.
Are you suggesting that the DP became DP impecunious as a pauper?
Not at all, but I also...
What was his wealth portfolio by the time he became DP?
I have several lists.
Do you know his wealth portfolio by the time he became DP?
During the presidential debate,
Yes.
he did say that he was worth 800 million shillings.
He said he was worth 800 million shillings.
Yes.
And you would question why he would promise in future to buy a property worth 400 million.
And I question why...
Do you know the formula he wanted to use to buy the property? Whether to liquidate his wealth to acquire it? Do you know the formula he wanted to use in future
That would be,
to buy the property?
that would be for him to say, not me.
I'm asking whether you know you are the one to establish this charge. Do you know the formula?
And the sources of the wealth are unexplained.
Which wealth has unexplained sources that you explained?
I have shown
I thought we began by Vipingo, which we have dealt with you.
all the way from Nyeri, treetops, all the way to Vipingo.
When?
We still have time for submissions.
Or you're going to call more evidence?
No, we are not calling evidence. We will just point out to the other documents of the Vipingo Hotel.
Mr. Speaker, may I invite my colleague, Mr. Masharia, to pick up from there?
And thank you very much.
Thank you, True.
Yes, Honorable Sir.
Okay, so far you've done 1 hour, 2 minutes.
Okay.
You have 58 minutes.
58 minutes.
For the entire...
Honorable Mutuse, Honorable Speaker of the Senate. Honorable Mutuse.
I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. According to the Senate website I'm reading here, between 2013 and 2022, you are the Chief of Staff of the County Government of Machakos. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So, from 2018 to 2022, you could not practice law as a public officer. Is that correct?
That is true.
So you have not done any conveyancing transactions. Is that correct?
That is not correct. Academic, professional, and experience in conveyancing.
Academic, not practical.
Professional and practical experience. I was not in private practice, but I am involved in many.
Yeah, name one transaction, for example.
Well, maybe you can't remember now.
Maybe what?
I cannot remember at the moment.
You can't remember a single transaction in your illustrious law career you've done. Let's move on. Honorable Mutuse,
Yes,
on what party said in the year 2022?
indeed.
Is it correct to state that Maendeleo Chapchap Party is a member of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition?
Yes, it is correct.
Did you sign a coalition agreement to form part of that Kenya Kwanza Coalition?
Yes, we did.
You did. Do you have any role, any specific role your council led you on what you said jointly were grounds 1, 5, and 6? Ground 1 and 5 and 6 deal with the utterance. One of the things that vexes you the most about these utterances, you mentioned sensationally Rwanda, you mentioned a deal in Molo. He said,
Yes.
so this is not a fact. Yes or no? It is not correct that he was not a deal in
I
Molo.
did not know it out of my own information, but it is public information.
What do you mean by public information? Either he was a deal or he was not. Can you confirm yes or no? Was he or wasn't he? Or don't you know?
It was a deal.
He was, no. Molo, please, let's not waste time. Was he a deal in Molo or was he not, to your knowledge?
It is publicly alleged that it was a deal.
To your knowledge, not to the public. To you, Mutu in Molo or not, to your knowledge?
I believe so.
I'm not asking for your belief or imagination. Do you know or do you not know?
Well, I do not have it as a matter of fact.
Okay, let's move. Now, you confirm that you are a member of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition.
Yes, indeed.
Please go with me, if you will,
Yes.
to page 417, honorable members, 417 of that one. And as you put a finger there, Honorable Mutuse, honorable members of the Senate, Mr. Mutuse, if you go with me to page 6 of, keep a finger there, page 417 of volume 3, these next just in support of His Excellency the Deputy President,
Yes.
and then volume 1, which is your motion. You're there, page 6?
Yes, I'm there.
You're there.
Yeah.
This is the allegation you see in the middle there, and I'll read for you quickly so that we don't get stuck, which begins with the words, a government is like a company. Can you see that?
A government is like a company.
You can see that.
Yes.
I want you to show me where in that paragraph the word tribe, ethnic, Kabila appears, even once. Can you see Kichunga? Can you see that?
Yes,
Show me where the word Kabila, tribe, or ethnicity appears.
it is not there.
Paragraph 13, ethnic or Kabila appears.
It is not there.
Let's go to page 8. Sisi lazima tungeangalia nyinyi. Hii serikali ni kampuni na hii ni shares. Si ndio? Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Show me where the word tribe, Kabila, ethnic appears.
It doesn't appear.
Paragraph 15, does it appear?
What?
At paragraph 15, at page 8 of 85.
What does not appear?
The same words, Kabila, ethnic, tribe.
No, they don't appear.
They do not appear. And finally, at paragraph 16, at page 9 of 85. Can you see that?
Let me read through.
So, Mlima is a tribe,
It's a region.
is a region. Can you please name for me the counties in that region?
I've said several.
Several, there are 10 actually. Read them out.
Kiambu,
Hmm?
Rana,
Hmm?
Nyeri,
Hmm?
Embu,
Hmm?
Rakanithi,
Hmm?
Meru,
Hmm?
Manduru, Nakuru.
Hmm? Have one tribe. To your knowledge.
They do not have one tribe.
The majority in the Senate and in the National. So the ruling party is Kenya Kwanza because they are a majority.
Yes,
You agree with that?
indeed.
Very good. Now, to your knowledge, if you now go with me to page 470 of volume 3
Yes.
of the Deputy President's documents, can you see that?
Yes,
It is addressed to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties,
yes,
and it is signed by our professional colleague, Professor Kifure Kendike. Can you see that? Council for Kenya Kwanza Alliance Coalition.
yes,
You can see that.
yes.
In the middle is a paragraph beginning with subsequently. Can you please read out for me the parties that were constituent parties of Kenya Kwanza?
Subsequently, on 12th April 2022, the following political parties were admitted and signed to join the coalition pursuant to Article 30 of Kenya, Economic Freedom Party, Farmers Party, the Service Party, Tujibebe wa Kenya Party, Umoja na Maendeleo Party of Kenya.
Those coalition agreements, it is to be found at page 418. Can you see that?
Yes, I am there.
At the very top there, under the date, who are the constituent, who are the parties that have signed this agreement?
United Democratic Alliance Party, and Amani National Congress Party, and Ford Kenya Party.
Thank you. If you go with me to page 420, a few pages from there.
420 and then.
Paragraph C, Article 5, Paragraph C. Please read that out very quickly.
The validity or legality of this agreement may not be subject to challenge by any founding or future coalition member party or their respective individual party members before any organ of the coalition.
And paragraph D,
Any constitution, rules, regulations, or guidelines, whatever the nomenclature of.
this is the master agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition. Is that correct? Yes or no?
It is correct.
Thank you. Do you know why these agreements are signed and under what law they are signed?
Yes, I know.
Please tell us.
They are signed under the Political Parties Act for various reasons. Number one is.
No, I asked you the law. Now, do you know what specific section requires a coalition agreement and what is to enter into a coalition agreement?
Well, not often, but I know.
Schedule 3. Does that ring a bell for you?
Schedule 3 is what states what the elements of a coalition agreement.
Are these agreements enforceable?
Yes, indeed.
They are the basis upon which Kenya is governed.
Basis upon which Kenya Kwanza coalition is run.
These are its constituent documents. This is the foundation of Kenya Kwanza.
But they are not superior to the Constitution.
I did not ask for an argument. I asked.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Would you know whether Maendeleo? You did.
They did sign.
Are you familiar with the contents of that agreement?
Yes, I am.
You are.
Yes.
Are you certain about that?
Yes, I know.
Very good. Then let's first go to. Yes.
Article 19, sharing of county assembly responsibilities of leadership.
Sharing.
Sharing.
Very good. Article 20, please.
Sharing of national government responsibilities.
Let us start with A. UDA shall nominate the coalition's presidential and deputy presidential candidates in the general elections of 9 August 2022. Did UDA provide the president and deputy president for Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes.
They did.
Yes.
So that part, and then you can see at Article 21, the functions of the deputy president is to chair committees, oversee implementation of cabinet decisions, and so on. Would you know whether this particular section was implemented or not?
In terms of the functions of the deputy president?
Yes. Would you know?
Yes. To the best of my recollection, it was put into effect through an executive order.
So that was also implemented?
Yes.
Go with me to page 428.
Page 428?
Yes.
We are here.
F. Can you see F at the top there?
Yes, I can see F.
A and C shall nominate the prime cabinet secretary for appointment by the President of the Republic. Did the leader of ANC, was the leader of ANC nominated and appointed as the prime cabinet secretary?
Indeed.
That is correct.
Prime cabinet secretary and
The functions you see at J and I, was that also implemented?
yes, they were implemented.
Very good. Let's go to page 429.
Page 429.
Shall nominate the Speaker of the National Assembly for election in accordance with the Constitution. Did Ford Kenya nominate and was the nominee in fact elected as the Speaker of the National Assembly?
Indeed.
Indeed. That is also implemented.
Yes.
Very good. Now, let us go to N. Please read out for us N.
ANC and Ford Kenya shall have 30 diplomatic missions, chairpersons of state corporations, directors of state corporations, and chairpersons and commissioners of constitutional commissions, provided that they have a say 30%.
Who would be the appointing authority for those positions?
Well, different office orders.
Remember-
Some secretaries appointed by the president.
Now, but ANC and Ford Kenya were promised 30% share positions in all these positions.
Indeed.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, they have a 30% share.
Yes.
So, when you hold shares, what are you called?
Okay. In a company, they are called shareholders. I do not know what they are called in a political party.
I'm talking about English. When you hold shares, what are you called?
Shareholder.
Kenya Kwanza, correct or not?
The 30%.
You have just told us when you hold shares, you're a shareholder. Thank you. Let's go to Article 22.
But not in a company.
Mr. Amutu, please answer the questions when you asked. Let's go to Article 22.
My apologies.
Let's go to Article 22. Please read paragraph, the one that begins with pursuant.
Pursuant to the principles of equity, national development, and fair allocation of national resources, the Kenya Kwanza Alliance administration shall endeavor to fulfill the following developmental obligations in the ANC and Ford Kenya strongholds of Western Kenya within the electoral period starting 2022 and ending in 2077 on a priority basis.
Stop there. Please tell me, what are the ANC and Ford Kenya strongholds in Western Kenya? As a member of the coalition, please tell us.
Come again?
What are the Ford Kenya and ANC strongholds in Western Kenya?
Western Kenya.
Yeah. Read for us the counties.
Or you want counties?
Of course.
That would be the county of Bungoma, the county of Kakamega. Which are one?
I am the questioner, you are the motion mover. Please answer. Now,
Primarily those ones.
these are priority projects for one region, correct?
Yes.
And this is a share.
Because it has a head.
Now, let's read the projects. Go to A.
Completion of all existing incomplete or stalled bitumen road projects within the aforesaid counties is at 9th August.
Let's go. As you have alleged here, that by Kenya Kwanza focusing on one region, certain projects, what you are accusing the deputy president of saying must be implemented, how does that cause disunity or ethnic strife? As a member,
in promotion of regional inclusivity of all regions in the national development.
But we're talking about Western here. Can you please show me in this document where other regions are mentioned? Please go through it quickly. Take a minute. It ends at page 433. It starts at
This is a coalition agreement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mutusa.
For Kenya,
Please, Mr. Mutusa, please answer.
Region.
Focus my question. Is there any other region?
Not in this document.
Thank you very much. That was my simple question. Let's go to page 434.
Several.
Name them.
William Ruto.
Yes.
Musalia Mudavadi.
Yes.
Moses Wetangula. Veronica Maina. Simon Bikuru. And Christanthas Wamala.
And it is witnessed by who? As you pile on the deputy president for causing ethnic strife by focusing on one region in a document.
None of them has made pronouncements to
The
similar.
So let me understand this and be careful with the answer here.
Yes.
Your problem with the deputy president is that he spoke out aloud what was written in the agreement that formed the government. Yes or no?
There is no way I've...
No, yes or no, Mr. Mutusa?
The deputy president has not said the people of Western have not been given what...
No. He spoke about shares. We've read.
But we have also to be faithful to the agreement.
We have to be faithful to an agreement that gives shares.
A coalition agreement.
And
Sure.
let us go back to your document, Mr. Mutusa. Please go back to page 7.
Yes, there we are.
A government is like a company. I did not say it is a company. I say it is like a company. In every company, when their dividends will be divided, they're divided according to the number of shares. This is the truth. A government. And this is the government being formed here. So, allowed what was written in an agreement deposited with the registrar of political parties and which formed the government.
I am not saying that.
Let's move on. Let's go to the agreement at page 435.
Yes.
Can you see that?
Yes, I can see it. Alliance Party.
Yes.
Otherwise abbreviated as PAR.
PAR. Let's go, if you don't mind,
Yes.
to page 438.
Page 438.
Yes.
Yes.
Please read what it says.
Priority projects and programs. Upon winning the presidential election scheduled for 9th, you want me to read on?
Or let me make it short for you. Between Article 7A
Yes.
and 7I,
Yes.
I want you to tell me whether any other region other than Coast is mentioned in those priority projects. This is page 438.
Which time am I to read?
No, please. Let me help you. There's none. All of them deal with coast. Can you see that?
The resources associated with the blue economy.
Do you know what blue economy refers to?
Yes, I do.
Is there a blue economy in Makueni?
There is a blue economy in Kisumu.
Very good. So this deals, other than the D, the rest of it is all coast.
Well, reverse operational changes that have been carried out in the recent past, whose effect has been to relocate some of the core activities, well, basically coast, but also with a national, with a national nature.
You can read them for yourself, their coast. Now let's 8A. It says that PAR shall nominate a candidate for the Speaker of the Senate. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see that.
Page 439, paragraph 8A. You can see down the Honorable Speaker of the Senate.
Indeed.
He did. Let's go to Article 9. Please read Article 9A.
Sharing of responsibilities in the national government. Upon the coalition winning the presidency of the Republic of Kenya in the general election scheduled for 9th, PAR shall submit one qualified nominee for appointment as
its share of national government. Is that correct?
according to this agreement, yes.
Thank you. Let's go go to a very interesting one. Go to paragraph 9C.
Yes.
Please read 9C.
Power shall be entitled to persons of state corporations, chairpersons of constitutional commissions, and other appointive officers commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators that will be elected on per ticket vis-a-vis the total number of elected under the ticket of other coalition constituent parties.
In simple English, when the number of the national government positions for PSs, ambassadors, state corporations, and etc., including constitutional commissions and other appointing offices, will be allocated to par commensurate with the number of members of National Assembly and senators. Doesn't that mean that? You can see that?
Yes, I can.
Again, you can see it signed by the party officials. Can you see that?
Yes, I can see.
His Excellency the President, the Prime Cabinet Secretary, the Honorable Senator of the National Assembly, Furaha. You can see that?
Yes, I can.
And you confirm this is an agreement of the Kenya Kwanza coalition?
Yes, between Kenya Kwanza and...
This is video number 7 in the Deputy President's document.
Waziri ambaye anasimamia fedha yote ya Kenya anaitwa Profesa Njuguna Ndung'u. Hapa Murang'a mumenipatia chairman ambaye anakusanya ushuru yote Kenya. Anaitwa Bwana Maura, anatoka hapa Kandara. Na nyinyi watu wa Murang'a, waziri wa maji ndio huyu yuko hapa. Kwa hivyo kama kuna watu shareholders wakubwa wa hii serikali ni watu wa Murang'a. Na hiyo kazi ingine yote.
Answer.
Who was speaking in that video?
The President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto.
What words did he use? What did he say?
Locals into his government. Yes.
And what, among other things, is one of the primary duties of the Deputy President? The Deputy President assists the President that does not attach to his principles
assigned to the President by the Constitution.
In that function. It's politics. What is the problem with that? He's the Deputy Party leader. Motion of years, which my colleague Elisha Ngoya calls false. He used some other words.
I can remember them. Ngoya's words.
What are they? Now, describe yourself. What was it used?
Go ahead. You can ask him for assistance.
Now, when you say that
of what the President said.
So when the President is shareholders wakubwa wa serikali, is the President's words likely to incite ethnic hatred, violence? Rwanda, are the President's words likely? Oh, I see. So his assistant who assisted him do the thing.
Counsel for the Deputy President, you have 30 minutes.
I'm most obliged, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Mutuse,
yes.
By assisting the President in something the President said, signed, and effected, most of these appointments, would you confirm with me that most of these appointments, for example, Principal Secretary, were made by the President?
Yes, indeed.
Cabinet Secretary, does the Deputy President have any power to appoint anybody? Sorry?
Not expressly.
No.
Deputize by way of signing an instrument of appointment.
Are you aware of any power delegated in this government?
I am not.
Is there any you know?
I am not.
You're not aware of it. In these utterances, thereby ensured that other regions did not have adequate development. Is that correct?
That they have the potential to discriminate.
Potential.
To discriminate.
Let me ask you something, and this is a question not just about this allegation, about the companies you said, about...
I was not under obligation to do so.
You are not?
So I did not.
I want...
Page 431.
Yes, page 431.
I'm on board.
You're there, page 431.
Page 431, yes.
Can you see Article 26?
Article 26, yes.
Dispute resolution mechanism.
I believe so.
Did you attempt to invoke that mechanism?
This is not a dispute. This is not a coalition dispute.
Okay? And so,
It's not a coalition dispute.
I asked this question because I asked you, did you ask the Deputy President why he said any of these things? Whether he was acting on presidential instructions or why was he doing it? Did you ask him? Did you ask him about these companies, these parcels of land? Did you invoke your Article 35 rights with rumors?
There is no requirement for me to write to the Deputy President to ask for any clarifications.
Let me get this right. You're saying there was no obligation on you to verify the facts before filing the motion?
I verify them with the necessary organs of the state.
What are the necessary organs of the state you verify them with?
Registration of companies.
Yes.
They are able to verify ownership with the business registration services.
Yes.
And others.
All right, let's go to another area now. Go to page 497.
Yes.
You're with me there?
Development Initiative.
Yes.
NEDI. Mission Aid Memoir.
Yes.
March 27th.
Yes.
To April 6, 2023.
As far as you're aware, does the Deputy President come from northeastern Kenya?
No, it doesn't.
But I want you to go with me first and foremost to page 500 and page 501.
500 and 501.
Yes.
Yes.
You can see that?
Yes.
Now, you can see there are 28 programs that were being undertaken under that program.
502 and 503.
Yes.
A list of participants.
A list of participants. You can see that?
Yes.
The top 10 participants are from which office?
Office of the Deputy President.
And there are many other leaders of Kenya there. Can you see that? I want you now to go with me to page 505.
Yes.
Can you see Annex 2 at the top there?
Active NEDI projects data.
You can see that?
Yes.
It lists a name and then it has World Bank funding financing $1 million. Can you see that?
Yes, I can.
Can you see NEDI share in US dollars?
Yes.
If you could get your assistant, as I lead you in another area, to do the totals and confirm that the total for the World Bank funding is $3.8 billion, the total World Bank funding for the country. Okay? Your assistant there can help you with a computer, which is 514 billion. Okay? The NEDI share being supervised by the Deputy President of that column, he can confirm, as we go on over something else, is $1.99 billion. The percentage of dollars allocated to the NEDI area is 52% of the national figure. Okay? Would you say that is marginalization by the Deputy President's office?
This is not a program by the Deputy President. It is.
You raise a very important point. You know, government has no money. Government has taxpayers' money.
Indeed.
The question is how it uses it.
Yes.
It borrows money and taxes.
Yes.
This program is run by the Deputy President's office.
Yes.
So all I am asking is a program likely to cause ethnic hatred. Is that discrimination? That's my question.
No, it is not.
Thank you very much. Go with me now to another area. Go with me to page 410.
Page 410?
Yes, 410. Honorable Mutuse,
Yes, Council.
you have said that the Deputy President acted beneath his office and violated his oath of office
Yes.
in public.
Yes.
And you say that is a terrible thing.
Yes.
It's the worst thing a Deputy President can do.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if you go with me to the constitutional provisions that deal with security, I believe the National Security Agency,
National Security.
Article 238. Please read, if you will, Article 239. Do you have the Constitution there with you?
239 sub-article 3, national security organs. In performing their functions and exercising their powers, national security organs and every member of the national security organs shall not act in a partisan manner, political cause that is legitimate under this constitution.
Thank you. And so if a senior member of any security agency were to, you could have that in the constitution, if a senior member or any member really of any security agency were to engage in that activity, that would be unconstitutional.
Indeed.
It would be worthy of criticism in this country. Are you familiar with Kenya's first Director of Intelligence, Mr. James Kanyoto?
Mr. James Kanyoto? Yes, I am familiar with the role.
His role in that commission and his role in that saga.
But not when he was in office.
I'm asking, was he brought there?
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much. You're familiar with the former Director of Intelligence called Brigadier Gachagua?
Yes, indeed.
During the Waki Commission, there was Brigadier Gachagua called to give evidence before the Waki Commission to explain the role of the security agencies in post-election violence.
Commission
Yes.
that was formed pursuant to the laws of Kenya.
Okay. Now, you're with me at page 410.
410 years.
You can see that is a newspaper article.
Yes.
What is it? It can only be on the face of it, Mr. Mutusa. We don't need to use extra adjectives to explain obvious things. What does it say?
Ruto, I was locked out of Security Council meeting 3 years ago.
Thank you. What is the date of that article at page 410? It's on the extreme right.
This is on 7th of July.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's go to page 411.
Page 4?
11.
Yes.
Please read that article in full.
UDA presidential candidate William Ruto on Thursday said he was excluded from attending the National Security Council meeting 3 years ago. The National Security Council brings together the President, Deputy President, Defense, Foreign Affairs, and Internal Security Cabinet Secretaries, the Attorney General, Chief of Defense Forces, the Director, his take on the ongoing extrajudicial killings in the country.
Stop right there. When you played your video, you said that the problem was that the Deputy President had discussed issues of security at a time when we were having what were called the Gen Z. The Minister for Interior was before the National Assembly, last week I believe it was, or the other week,
Yes.
and said that 42 people died during those protests. You recall?
I do not have that, but we take it as you put it.
He said 132 people are missing.
Okay.
Are you aware that cases have been filed in court, including one where the Inspector General of Police was cited for contempt over allegations that the security agencies were abducting Kenyans?
I am aware of the matters in court.
Are you aware that during these protests, property of immense value was lost?
Yes, I am aware.
Did the President of the Republic of Kenya dismiss his entire cabinet as a consequence of those protests?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Are you aware, as a member of Parliament, that the World Bank and the IMF, as early as January, the introduction of the reforms in the Finance Bill 2024 would lead to protests? Are you aware of that?
I am not aware.
Should a responsible government have done in the intervening period?
The government is not on track.
Agencies have done.
I can't tell because I am not part of them. I'm not in the executive.
I see. Let's go back to my article at page 411.
At the same time, the DP also revealed that Director of the National Intelligence Service no longer picks up his calls. This, he said, has made him unable to play a key role in ensuring an end to the judicial killings in the country, as well as the runaway insecurity in some parts of the country.
Stop right there. Go to page 412.
Page 412.
In the middle, there is a sentence beginning with words, he reiterated. Read, finish.
It will ensure end to extrajudicial killings.
So, the Deputy President at the time is criticizing the intelligence no longer picked up his calls, and this is being made at a rally in Moyale. Between that,
There is a huge difference. Number one, he begins by saying he has been locked out of National Security Council meetings. Honorable Gachagua has not said that he has been locked from National Security Council meetings. Number two, he goes ahead and says the Director General of the National Service no longer picks his calls.
I see, but they're talking about the Director of National Intelligence.
And our case is that...
And we are discussing things the public don't know yet. Correct? Yes or no, Mr. Motus?
The context is...
No, yes or no, Mr. Motus?
Is distinguishable.
Yes or no?
The context is very different.
Very good. Now, you say that at this speech, the Deputy President revealed secrets. What specific secrets did he reveal?
He said, and the clip, that the officers did not receive advance security information, intelligence on the planned protests.
And this is subject to the Official Secrets Act. You can confirm this.
The oath of office is that
when you made this allegation yourself, who are these officers you're saying made these secrets? Gave you these secrets?
The Deputy President, in the clip that we played, from his own mouth, says...
Let us play for you a video here, Honorable Speaker, video number 6.
We have the most incompetent Inspector General of Police, I think, in the world. His incompetence may not necessarily play out when things are working, but I can tell you for sure, the gentleman we have as an IG cannot make any decision.
The second one.
Tumwambie ule mtu wa sinema mingi anaitwa ule mtu ule si anaitwa DCI yule anaitwa nini ule mtu huyo Kinoti hakuna kitu amefanya kwa kesi ya kisiasa. Yeye ni mtu ya sinema, anaendesha makesi kwa magazeti, anatuandikia barua, sijui barua ya kilomita ngapi. Mr. Kinoti, please save your time. Stop writing to us long letters. Leave matters of elections to IEBC. You have no business in IEBC. You have failed as Kinoti awache ile ujinga yake anaendesha pale. Kwa sababu natukasirisha huyo bwana Kinoti, tunataka tumwambie awachane na watu wa IEBC.
In the 2 years the Deputy President has been in office,
yes,
where he called any public servant in the security sector a worker. I just asked a simple question. So you don't recall any?
I don't recall.
Yes. Do you recall him ever speaking in that tone to any officer?
I don't recall.
Thank you very much.
And there is no motion.
I'll hand over this Honorable Speaker to my colleague, Mr. Victor Swanyoget.
Now, Council, you have 9 minutes. This witness and the other witness there.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the senators. I'll be very brief. Mheshimiwa Mutusi, I want to refer you to your motion 45I.
Paragraph
1. Yeah.
That's paragraph
5I.
Paragraph 45I.
Yes.
Yes.
Can you read it for us?
Additionally, His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua used his office of Deputy President to exert influence and connive with the unscrupulous Ministry of Lands officials to issue an allotment letter to Amonyoro Investments Limited, a company 77 and LR 90923, situated at Embakasi, Nairobi, whose value is estimated at 1.5 billion Kenya shillings or thereabouts. After that, this company used the fraudulently acquired documents to support a court case at the expense of the legitimate owner of the property.
Very good. In your allegation, you have alleged that the Deputy President connived with unscrupulous officials in this house or anywhere in the bubbles, naming those officials?
I did not place, but as far as I can remember, there is information that came through public participation.
Please, because of time, I think I want you to answer yes.
Contained
Thank
in
you.
the public participation.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Tusu. Now, how many letters of allotments were given to Wamunyor Investment?
And
Any letter of allotment as evidence?
I haven't.
You have not. Okay. 107, that's volume 3, 107
Volume 3.
of your documents, 107.
Page 107.
107, yes. 107, and I want 107. Are you there? That is NLC determination,
Volume 3, page.
volume 3, page of our documents.
Your documents.
Yeah. The so do you identify this determination?
Yes, I do.
From who?
This is from the National Land Commission, signed by the then Chair, Professor Mohamed Sozuri, PhD, Wajida, Chairman, National Land Commission.
So when was it signed?
It was signed on the 24th day. I presume this remains March of 2016.
2016.
Yes.
At that time, was the Deputy President in office?
No, it was not in
He
office.
was not in office.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so you will have not
Not as Deputy President.
as Deputy President. Very well. I want also to refer you to before I refer you to the judgment on that matter, I want you to read the determination of the Commission,
Which evidence adduced before it hereby directs as follows. The lease held by Wamunyor Investments Limited, LR number 209, 12077, IR number 90923 is upheld subject to adoption by plenary.
is upheld.
Subject to.
But is upheld.
Subject to. You read it in whole. Subject to
Very well.
adoption by plenary.
Very well. But the determination of NLC have already determined.
It is upheld subject to adoption by plenary.
Very well. So let me refer you to E242 of 2006. Yes.
Yes.
I want you to go to the judgment of the judge. That's 177.
170,
177.
177, 176.
Yeah.
Yes.
176. Paragraph 440. Right? I. Can you read paragraph 140I?
A declaration be and is hereby issued that the plaintiff is the lawful registered absolute owner of all that parcel of land known as LR number 209 12077, IR number 90923.
Who is the plaintiff? Who is the plaintiff?
Wamunyor Investments.
Wamunyor Investment. Okay. And therefore, the judge has determined who is the rightful owner of that property, right? That's right?
Yes, the judge has determined.
Okay, now, do you want the Senate to further arbitrate on this, on the ownership of this property after that? That is, even after you've seen the determination both from the court and from the NLC?
There is no plenary adoption of the NLC determination. Subsequently, we have made allegations which will be proved that the letter of allotment came long after, and it is the letter that was used to support, to lead the court to make this decision.
Very well. That's all, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much.
I thank you.
But just to remind you, you have 40 minutes to conclude your entire case.
Mr. Speaker, we have no questions in re-examination for this witness, so we propose to call our next witness. That is Dr. Andrew Mulo.
Very well. Now,
if the clock can be frozen while...
may want to seek for clarification from the witness, so I will allow them to do that. When they're done, then you can usher in your second witness. So, senators, you have 2 minutes to do that, and we are going to do that. I'm going to allocate 20 minutes for that exercise. Senator John Newton. Not present. Senator Foote.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I have two clarifications. The first clarification to the Council for the Deputy President, and is on the matter of the first charge on the issue of shareholding. Can the Council, based on Rule 30, of the standing orders, explain the specific relevance of the Kenya Kwanza Coalition Agreement as a piece of evidence? My second question is the Council of National Assembly on the ground number 8, where it is alleged that the Deputy President violated whether there was any report made to the relevant authorities as far as this charge is concerned.
Senator Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to seek some clarifications from the Honorable Mutuse. Very fast, Mr. Speaker. First of all, what led in institutions? And if he was auditing the presidency, would he kindly tell us also about the wealth of the president? Number two, Mr. Speaker, who did this particular motion for Honorable Mutuse? And why I ask that, Mr. Speaker, is because every time he's asked a question, he says, I think so, I believe so. He does not give convincing reasons, in my view, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, he has listed several companies. And these companies, upon cross-examination, he has said repeatedly, again, he thought that there was an intention to use them for money laundering and some other corruption. In his understanding, to own companies for the Deputy President or any other Kenyan, Mr. Speaker. About acquisition of Olive Gardens Hotel, with a promise, it is alleged, that the Deputy President would buy the same.
Honourable Senators, condense your thoughts. We only have 2 minutes to engage. And both teams kindly note down the questions. So I want
to ask the witness, Mtuse, you have been taken to great lengths on associated the Deputy President with. I want you to just clarify why you included the 22 companies in your impeachment. You set out allegations on several companies. Clarify one, you refer to Olive Gardens Hotel, you refer to the again. Now I want you to just tell us, to clarify, the significance of the inclusion of governments. You also seem to raise a number of issues. I want you to also clarify the ownership of Queensgate Service Apartments and why you attribute the questions. You asked several questions by in charge number 1. You have referred to the obligation.
Senator Mgatana. Asante Bwana Spika. Mimi nilikuwa nataka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mtuse, mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki, atufafanulie wakati ambapo Mheshimiwa Makamu wa Rais alipokuwa anazunguka na kusema anapigania haki za Mrima, yeye kama mbunge wa Kibwezi Mashariki na kama mbunge wa kutoka sehemu ya jimbo gatuzi la Makueni, je, alijisikia ama alijihisi kwamba anabaguliwa ama anawekwa kando katika nchi hii ya Kenya? Tueleze vizuri, tuelewe. Asante, fafanua. Senator Ali.
I will have 2 clarifications to seek from Mheshimiwa Mutuse, but because my leader, Senator Governor James Orengo, opened this session with the verse from the Bible, I will also read one from the Bible. The book of Exodus chapter 23, you shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. That is the Bible. And truly, your motion. I ask that question, Mr. Speaker, because on all accounts, the witness is unable to prove anything. Is this in the oath of office for the Deputy President? It is required of him to diligently serve the people of the Republic of Kenya in the office of the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. The people that reside in the Mount Kenya region are Kenyans. What is so wrong coming to defend other people in Nairobi and other people in other regions? What is so wrong? What is impeachable about that defense? I thank you, Speaker.
Senator Veronica.
Honorable Mutuse, just to clarify a few issues, that's one. And then to confirm whether the Asset Recovery Agency, the case of the Asset Recovery Agency that was before Justice Esther Minor was fully resolved using the consent order. Those 2 clarifications.
Senator Olekina.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I need to seek 2 clarifications, and one of them is from the Council of the Deputy President in terms of the consent that was reached upon
for the 200 million. I have of the case, which I believe the judgment still stands. Do we have that consent? And in what circumstances led to that consent being agreed upon, and that money were proceeds of corruption? Was it threats? Number two, I'd like to seek some clarification on the concept of shareholding. Is a coalition agreement a company? Is Kenyan government a company? Because I was still not very clear about those two issues. Because we've been invited to interpret the coalition agreement of Kenya Kwanza. Yet, every time, based on the evidence presented, all I could hear is the deputy president talking about people. So are people now part of the coalition agreement? And is the coalition agreement a company, or is it a coalition agreement registered with the registrar of political parties?
Senator Metz.
Speaker, I also want to get to understand from a clarification from Honorable Mutuse on the assertion that we made on ground number acquired a dairy farm in Nyandarua County, whether there is any evidence in record that he has a dairy farm in Nyandarua, either the title number of the land or even the, a photograph. I've seen you put photographs of hotels, either a photograph of cows or whatever you have in record. Number two, I would also want to know from the Honorable Mwengi Mutuse, on this matter that you say the people of Kenya feel that they have been left out, whether there is any evidence against the conduct of the Deputy President in as far as the issues that you've raised. Finally, there is one property of the estate of Didito Gachagua that is referred to as Kuruitu, and I think you have adduced the list of the directors. In your submissions, you said that the only one person who is an executive, the people who are beneficiaries, are the executors. So one of the three, or all the three executors, are also beneficiaries. And in the regards to what you have adduced in the Kuruitu property, it is actually one of the executors, not the Deputy President, who actually bought that particular property.
Senator Christian.
The Bible has been cited, because I have a couple of verses of my own I would like to also start my contribution with. I take it to Proverbs 17, which I think a quarrel is like breaching a dam. So drop the matter before a dispute breaks out. 15, acquitting the guilty, and to insert the Senate detests them both, and we have a very upward hill task. My question goes to the witness. In his motion, he has used the Oxford Advanced Dictionary to define gross misconduct. I was just curious to find out why the Oxford Dictionary, which I know all legal counsels also rely upon. Thank you.
Senator Gachagua.
Well, Speaker, I want to seek clarification from the council for the Deputy President. I have seen parade photos and utterances for His Excellency the President. I did get the relationship between what is before us and the President for this matter. So can you please explain what is the relationship between what he has paraded for the President and what is before us as a House?
Senator Karungo.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My questions directed to Mheshimiwa Mutuse. Welcome to the Senate, the upper house. And my question is, you said the Deputy President is tribal because he spoke Kikuyu in Nairobi. Are you aware of Article 7 of the Constitution that says the state should promote local languages? Are you also aware of Article 27 that says no one should be discriminated on the language they speak? Are you also aware of Article 44 of the Constitution that says that every person has the right to use the language of their choice? But again, would you make the same complaint if he spoke in sign language? The next question is, the Deputy President has been talking about shares in government, serikali, which we have been shown that the shareholding and the shares were signed by the government officials who were in government. He never talked about the nation, which is Taifa, shareholding of the country. So I would want you to tell me whether you know the difference between the two. And lastly, you have given us a lot of documents, even bank statements, and even payment votes. How did you access these documents? Yet still evidence, or to unlawfully obtain evidence. We would want you to give us that indication. And also, you say the Deputy President was in a company of senators in Nairobi County. The Senate.
Mr. Speaker, my clarification is on that the Deputy President has several proxy companies, and one of them is AgroBrick Investment Limited. In paragraph 48, the National Assembly alleges that Bhavika Nathalal Hirani is a proxy of His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua. Could the National Assembly provide some evidence, because ground 7 is framed as serious reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed a crime? Could there be some evidence to convince the House that there could be reasons to believe so? Finally, on paragraph 74, the National Assembly alleges that the Deputy President has openly sabotaged the state's efforts in agriculture. Mr. Speaker, I'm a member of the Agriculture Committee, and I would be interested to get the evidence that there's been connivance, there's been cartelism, and there's been an association between the deputy, because the tea sector goes beyond the mountain, it goes all the way to Kisii and areas that neighbor Homa Bay County. And finally,
Senator Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The property of the deceased. My question is, does the deceased have any children? Are they of sound mind? And because it appears as though they are not involved in any of the management of the estate of the deceased, and that is the big question, and possibly a clarity that we would like to have from you. Thank you.
Senator Akon.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to seek clarification on what is at page 15, paragraph 41. There is the allegation being made that in the past 2 years, His Excellency the President has amazed a humongous relation. And I don't know whether you were trying to drop this allegation or you want against whom you have brought the motion. That is the Deputy President with that allegation of 5.2 billion. I didn't quite see you make a clear clarification in support of that allegation. If you could kindly clarify for me. Thank you.
Senator Murango.
Asante sana Mr. Speaker. Ningetaka kumuuliza Mheshimiwa Mutuse kwa sababu kampuni nyingi ambazo ameorodhesha pale kama ushahidi kwamba ni za watoto wake, na lazima ulikuwa unafanya kazi kupitia kampuni, tengeneza kampuni ili kulaghai pesa kupitisha zile kampuni. Swali langu la pili ni kwamba katika stakabadhi ambazo zimeletwa pale zinaonyesha kwamba waliokuwa wanafaa kupata mgao wa shares katika kampuni imeorodheshwa kuja Nairobi mahali pale pengine popote. Unasikia kwamba ulikuwa umegatuliwa kwa sababu umetoka Makueni na ile miradi yako inakuja Makueni. Asante sana Mr. Speaker.
Senator Sifuna.
Honorable Speaker, unfortunately I hear that the Bible verses have been exhausted. But I seek a clarification. Presented a coalition agreement to explain this issue of shareholding. Where does that coalition agreement leave members of political parties that are not signatories to the Kenya Kwanza agreements? That is the first question I would want clarification. Number two, what would be the page that you referred us to includes securing positions that are supposed to be competitively filled. For instance, the position of permanent secretaries. Is it your position that in fact these advertisements that we see in the newspapers are just a charade to cover up things that have already been concluded in coalition agreements such as the Kenya Kwanza agreement that you have exhibited here? Thank you very much.
Senator Murithi.
Asante Bwana Spika. Swali langu ni kwa Mheshimiwa Mutuse. Wakati ndio tuweze kuangalia kuna njia yoyote, kwa sababu kila mtu ako na uhuru ya kwenda kotini ama kuita wazee ama kutuma. Deputy President aliongea ubaya wa jaji wa huyu jaji. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Fukile.
Asante Daiki Spika. Daiki Spika, niko na swala kwa kutaka kufafanuliwa na wakili wa naibu rais. Katika gross violation iko katika kipengele kinasema kwamba mimi najua msimamo wangu ya kwamba watoto wakiwa wengi kuna wale kwanza akuangaliwa, si mnajua. Alafu anaendelea kuongea kwamba chakula kiko jikoni karibu kuiva, watoto ni wengi, chakula iko namna hiyo. Nataka afafanue Kiswahili hiki kinamaanisha nini kwa huyo client wako. Asante.
Senator Ososi, no question directed to me. Senator Mitru, what led me to audit the wealth of the Deputy President? I'm just doing my work as a member of state officers. The Deputy President is one such state officer. I set myself to draft. And why didn't I also audit the President? I was not intending to bring an impeachment motion against the President. If in future another member wants to bring an impeachment motion against the President, I believe they will be at liberty to also do their work in the manner they did. Who did this particular motion? You have listed several companies. Yes, indeed, you have listed several companies. And just to clarify, there are those companies that I was led by advocates for His Excellency regarding Gachagua, and I said we have no problem with them. But also, there are companies that we have issues with, and we have stated the companies that we have issues with. And you would know, because you have handled impeachment motions in the past, that just because we do not have an issue with one particular company does not mean that those that have been proved also fall in it. But one company that is a construction company, to doing a construction work. So it was also to demonstrate an intricate web of activity to hide these companies. The affidavit of Jomo, it did not complete. Senator Professor Ojambo, Senator for Kisumu, shareholding of the 22 companies, CR12s for the 22 companies, to show that His Excellency the Deputy President has been owned by his children or other proxies as part of a character of a web, which is also consistent with the are not consistent with the normal way of doing business. Because in the normal way of doing business, would imagine if, for example, Safaricom, that is a telecommunication company, also under it had another 20 other telecommunication companies. For what purpose? You would ordinarily, a business person would concentrate on one company, it succeeds. Then if you have a different at everything, they are all made to do the same thing. The question is why? And remember, the offense here is reasons to believe that the Deputy President has committed crimes. And we believe this is in terms of Vipingo and Olive Gardens. Vipingo Ridge, we have been able to demonstrate that His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua's children are part of the directors, 2 of them. In terms of Olive Gardens, we have been able to demonstrate through the affidavit of Mr. Jomo that Mr. Jomo indeed was acting for the Deputy President in the purchase. And as much as we refer to a future promise of refund, all of us would know that offenses of corruption and money laundering are not straightforward offenses. And as much as we want to rely on technicality, and it is this technicality that has made it impossible to fight corruption in this country, if we look at it and all of us know how this was a conduit for that purchase. We go to the Honorable Senator. Na nafikiri ni kweli kwamba watu ambao nawakilisha na mimi mwenyewe pia na Wakenya wengi, masuala ya Kenya mzima, atazingatia tu masuala ya sehemu fulani, basi wale Wakenya wengine wote nikiwa ndani, hata wale wa mlima pia wao, you setting them against the rest of Kenyans. Senator Enoch, Exodus 23, thank you. I will keep it to myself. But I am not participating in any conspiracy against anyone. I am just doing my civic duty as a citizen of the Republic of Kenya and exercising my mandate as a member of the National Assembly, which is a constitutional mandate. I believe senators here also have done issues in line with their mandate, in line with their responsibility. Your own motion, yes, it is my own motion. And in saying so, you say, I approve nothing. And that is not factual. Just to say the least, have some grounds. And you will see we have given clear evidence in many of them. Incidences where we have been ever circled that by the time of presenting the motion, I had not gathered evidence and the rules do not permit that I present new evidence. I have conceded, but only on those 2. That does not mean that I have not proved anything. I have actually proved most of them. To also be fair to my case and find that even if only one ground is proved, to also vote for the approval. Because one of the videos that are presented before this House is a speech by the Deputy President at AIC Kitui, which I believe the President telling the people of Kitui, kwamba watia viti katika serikali. Those are the people that Senator Enoch represents, or the Deputy President told them they do not have a right to be in cabinet. In terms of the oath of office, and it was done right in Kitui town. In terms of oath of office, diligently serve the people of Kenya. Yes, and that is where the problem is. You sought to serve the people of Kenya, not the people of a region. That's where the problem is. Senator Veronica, charges of money laundering. I am not aware of any ongoing proceedings in respect of the DP in terms of money laundering, but I'm aware of the Justice Minor law. Senator Leonard Nyandarua County Dairy, I consider I have not presented evidence on Nyandarua County Dairy because, of course, of the limited timelines in terms of working on this. NCSC complaining about, I wouldn't know because I don't work for NCSC. I wouldn't know, just to be fair. Kuruwitu and CF12 is Vipingo Ridge. and we have also demonstrated who are the owners of Philippine College. You know, money laundering, you hide, it is aware. That's why it has become very difficult sometimes even to investigate money laundering. And there is no dispute that the two sons of Senator Asigi, where we are using the Oxford Dictionary and not Black's Law Dictionary, law has now also delved to the place of the common citizens also to understand what it is and not the jargon of the past. And so Oxford Dictionary also offers plain English definition that the definition you have given is wrong in terms of what constitutes gross misconduct. Senator Karungo, my very good for 27 at 444, clearly the Deputy President is a state officer and has taken oath to promote national, the Akamba, much as we border here, or the Luya, or the Kikuyu. When you speak in Nairobi, you must be sensitive. It is just like speaking in Senate in mother tongue. And the response is, we are not, the Deputy President has talked about Kenya is a company for shareholders. He did not say that Kenya is led by Kenya Kwanza Coalition, a political coalition of shareholders. So let us not twist facts. This is an afterthought. There has never been anywhere where the Deputy President said, naongea kuhusu Kenya Kwanza Coalition. He has been consistent. Kenya is a company and it will benefit its shareholders. So the coalition agreements that have been adduced before you are an afterthought, are just a diversion, in my view. Access documents. How did I access these documents, including accounts? I got the services of whistleblowers when people knew that I want to do this. I got the services, I got a lot of information from whistleblowers whom I did not intend to disclose their identity because they are protected. My counsel will be talking about the issue of Prodika and how it is, that particular director is related, is connected, is linked to the nexus between that particular director and His Excellency. I have information, but I leave it at that we have not presented, that we have not presented adequate evidence in terms of sabotage. But Kenyans will know that that role is domiciled in his office, and the price for tea has not become any better. In fact, it is still oscillating up and down. The cooperative society, I also considered, we have not presented evidence. Senator Walker, the question was to the DP's legal team. Senator Omogeni, page 15, paragraph 41, whether I can tabulate, and during our closing remarks, we'll be able to, we'll be at our conclusion remarks, we'll be able to answer this question. But just for your information, the land acquired through Abunyoro Investments is 1.5 billion. The Abadeas, when we added, came to about 1 billion shillings. When you add Pruito, 250 million, and others that will be showing 412 million thereabouts.
Now allow your
Thank you.
team to respond to the question.
Mr. Speaker, I believe the question was about whether there has been a complaint with regard to ground 8, any report to the relevant authorities. I believe there was a related prosecution for money laundering or related offenses. We are not aware of the authority. Equally, we are not aware of whether there has been such a complaint, whether there has been such a prosecution, because when we get there, we'll be showing you the Supreme Court. Impeachment is about political hygiene, it is about political responsibility. It is not about whether there is criminal liability or whether there is civil liability. And we'll be hoping we can persuade with lots of humility. And those are not my words. They are the words of our Supreme Court, as I say, not once or twice, but several times. Thank you.
The legal team.
Thank you very much for the question. Honourable members, please permit me to answer this in omnibus, but I'll attempt to do my level best on this. The first question was, why is the president relevant? Number one, under the Constitution, the deputy president assists the president. And so when the president tells the people of Moranga and elsewhere that they're the biggest shareholders of government, when he signs a contract that founds the government, the deputy president is bound to assist the president in moving that shareholder issue. That's number one. Number two, the one talks about honesty being a foundation principle for leadership. It is well known, I think I can say it here, my client, the deputy president, is known as the truthful man. It is performed if indeed any government, any contractor worthy of their name, worthy of their signature is to be believed to be complied with. You will note the president is insisting that the promises made to the people of Western Kenya should be complied with to the letter. The promises made to the people of Coast in an agreement should be complied with to the letter. Equally, all other regions that had agreements signed or promises made in these coalition agreements ought to have those promises implemented. That is the basis upon which he says it is important that we keep our words. Fourthly, the coalition agreements were in fact executed. The president, as promised in the agreement, the Speaker of this Honourable House and a learned friend and colleague was in fact elected. But more importantly, as a matter of law, agreements that underpin coalition building are actually a legal consequence. They draw their force from the law. And I think Honourable Mutuse here mentioned every coalition to draw a coalition agreement. That is number one. Number two, it prescribes what is to go in that agreement of power and responsibilities. So it's a matter of the law. And if when the honourable members here retire, you will find that Article 108 of the Constitution delineates power in both the National Assembly and in the Senate on the basis of coalition agreements and who has the majority, who is the largest shareholder, if you will, in each of those two houses. Fourthly, or fifthly, I think it is now, I think we said this before, the deputy president had no power to appoint or implement any of those things. And saying we ought to keep our word, we ought to do what we promised in these documents which we filed at the registrar of political parties. Sixthly, in the statements that were read to you in the videos, there are two things to note. Number one, the deputy president is talking about government. He's very clear. He doesn't say the nation. He doesn't say the national cake. He doesn't say resources. He says, just to read for you one example, at page 6 of 85, a government is like a company, government. He's not talking about resources, he's talking about government, and that's all it was. It is important for members to remember, to recall, that these provisions of the law I am sharing with you here followed the famous, or should I say infamous, NAC MOU, which became very litigious. I had the privilege of participating in that case. The famous NAC MOU was set aside because it had no anchoring in law. That was corrected, and that is what these agreements are about. Seventhly, and I think I'll combine this with, although I can work with people who believe in his policy, who believe in his manifesto, who will implement what he had in mind when he campaigned on a specific platform. Believe in my manifesto. How are you going to be the one I appoint to implement that? It wasn't about tribes. It was about manifesto, it was about policy, it was about words. Politicians use all manner of words. The party I represented in the last election was called Mganga many times in the campaign trail. But we know he's not a Mganga, you know. So, but it's political talk. Number 8, These agreements were not limited to Kenya Kwanza, as I said, because they're part of the law. The government that preceded Kenya Kwanza, Jubilee, had similar agreements deposited with the Registrar of Political Parties. Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya, had a similar agreement. It's only that they never got to power, but they had a similar agreement. And the reason for this is that even internationally, these agreements are known as power-sharing agreements. There's no magic to it. That's what elections are about the division of power. That's what it is about. And because of that, these agreements, in fact, do the opposite of a source of unity when the diverse sectors of the Kenyan society can get together. For example, Kenya Kwanza, I think, had 16 or so parties. Azimio had 25. The different characteristics of Kenyan society are captured in all those parties. That's what coalition building is all about. And it not only works at national level, even at the devolved level, we have what are called negotiated democracy agreements. Now, my learned friend, my good and learned friend, Mr. Sifuna, asked a question about what happens to the others who are not mentioned in these agreements. We have a practical example. Members of this party, ODM, are now in government. The party, the contracts left room for accommodation. My good friend,
order. You cannot raise a point of order on the council. You cannot. Council, you have the 3 minutes to conclude.
Thank you. I just wanted to set the point that the agreements were dynamic, that politics. But the next point I wish to say, regarding PSs and others to be advertised, I cannot speak to how Kenya Kwanza intended to implement that, but like I've demonstrated, it was implemented. They found a way to do it. I don't know how they did it, but we're just speaking to what they did. Honorable Stuart Mazayo asked a question about Chakula Kikiva. You will note that a lot of the videos that were played here today were made in Nandi or in Kericho. There was a very specific reason for that, and the Deputy President himself will be addressing that question either in Nandi or in Kericho. He is cheered widely. It is a very popular issue in those two counties. Finally, I think it's a question that was asked about how Honorable Mutuse and others would feel. Even regions that did not overwhelmingly vote for Kenya Kwanza, including, for example, Machakos, Makueni, and Kitui, actually got 2 cabinet secretaries in the cabinet in the fullness of time. And so no one was actually discriminated against. This was not about trade. I think the confusion has been brought about by Mutuse's motion. This was about sharing of government and those who believed in the policies of this government. I hope I have attempted to address all the questions you have raised.
Conclude by responding to Senator Onakina's
Yes. Sorry, your Senator. If you could remind me the question, I'm sorry.
The consent.
The consent. The consent is being addressed by my good and learned friend, Mr. Elisha Boy.
Yes, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you, distinguished senators. The distinguished senator for Narok County has asked succinct questions. Number one, if you look at the page number 1, the Deputy Chief Justice has no respect for the judiciary, which is why he made the allegations that he made against Justice Esther Maina. And number 2, that the Deputy Chief Justice, so you respond to the motion as presented. Now, to respond to that, there was no necessity to file this consent because the consent does not address itself to the claim by the DP that is going to file, and then began taking this court through the judgment of Maina. Now altering the claim as presented in the motion, which is why we had now to take him through the issue of the consent. Now that addresses, and so we have not presented the consent before this Senate because the motion as framed did not require the consent to respond to it. But having said that, My learned colleague, the mover of the motion, makes a false statement that a consent does not determine the merits of the matter. In fact, a consent determines the merits of the matter. When you enter a consent and say that the judgment that was rendered by the trial court, you are entering a consent to state a different state of affairs. You are actually vacating that judgment. The trial court had taken the money in question from the DP. That is the substance of the matter. So, the argument by the mover of the motion before you that a consent does not settle the matter on the merits of the matter that it addresses. Thank you so much.
Honorable Senators, can I get an indication from Council to the National Assembly? How many witnesses do you intend to call beyond Honorable Mutusi?
Mr. Speaker, we have 3 more witnesses, and while on it, at the point we stopped examining the Honorable Mutuse, you said we had 45 minutes.
Yes,
but when I went there, you said 40, so we were a bit alarmed.
No, you have 45 minutes.
Much obliged.
And the team for the Deputy President, you exhausted your time, but there was 10 minutes that had been occasioned by the technicality of the videos. So you need to utilize to stay on as we hear the 3 witnesses, and then if the other clarifications that Honorable Senators wish to direct to you.
Mheshimiwa Speaker, we as counsel for the Deputy President would wish to borrow from our time tomorrow, the time you allocated, so that we can be able to effectively cross-examine the witnesses that the National Assembly is going to call now. We don't want to go outside our time, but we need
How much time do you have to borrow from your tomorrow's time?
1 hour.
Keeping in mind that by arriving by the
1 hour will be adequate. 30 minutes?
Yes. Very well. Quickly swear in the witness.
I, Dr. Andrew Mulwa, do solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before the Senate in respect of the matters before the Senate shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Sir, would you tell the Senate who you are and your professional background?
My name is Dr. Andrew Mulwa, a medical doctor by Kenya Medical Supplies Agency, KEMSA.
Please confirm whether you're the one that swore the affidavit on page 6. In the motion, did you swear this affidavit?
I have sworn affidavit on issues raised on paragraph 45J, 78C, in ground 7 and 11 of the motion for removal of office by impeachment of His Excellency, the Deputy President, Gachagua.
Paragraph 78 of the motion, what does it say? 78A, that would be page 37 of 85.
To illustrate, His Excellency Gachagua bullied Kenya Medical Supplies Agency officials into awarding tender for the supply of mosquito nets to Crystal Limited, his proxy company, with the sole intention to fraudulently acquire public property.
Dr. Mundo, was Crystal
for this procurement, but was the local agent for a company called Shapika Impacts Limited, which submitted bids, and part of the local documents, like the pesticide control board certificates, were actually submitted by Crystal in the tender document.
So Crystal was actually the one submitting the bids?
There was a reference of Crystal in some of the local documents that the bidder had to submit.
I want to refer you to volume 8A of the Assembly's document, page 18 of 19. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I am.
What is the title of that letter?
His appointment as local agent for Duranet LLI in Kenya.
This Duranet, is it the mosquito net that was being procured? Or is it a different one?
Duranet is a company that initially, it is Shobika writing to confirm that they have appointed Crystal as their sole local agent in the country.
What does it say in the second paragraph?
We are pleased to appoint Crystal Kenya Limited at State House Avenue, Liaison House, third floor of PO Box given in Nairobi, Kenya, as our exclusive agents in Kenya for promotion, marketing and sales of Duranet long-lasting insecticide nets manufactured by Shobika Impacts.
Page 17 of that document, what does the second paragraph say?
There was a change of ownership for Duranet LL9.
Read it loud.
And there's change of ownership for Duranet LLIN, which is alpha cypermethrin 0.55%, WW registration number PCB CR 0189.
I'm referring to volume 8A, page 17. What does the second paragraph of that letter say? Can you read it in full?
We have taken note of the change in ownership of Duranet LN9 from Clark Mosquito Control of USA to Shobika Impacts Private Limited, India, and appointment of new agent, Crystal Kenya Limited.
The documents we have so far read in volume 8A, sir, do they show a link between Shobika and Crystal Limited?
Yes.
Is Crystal Limited, to the best of your knowledge, connected to the Deputy President?
From my affidavit, I did not know initially that there was a connection.
Yes.
But through a phone call from His Excellency the Deputy President and conversations between myself and his son.
We'll come to those phone calls and conversations, but for now,
I was able to establish that there is a connection.
There is a connection. Let's go to page 10 of 19 of volume 8A. Who has ordered that letter? Page 10 of 19.
Page 10 of 19 is a letter from Ethics and Corruption Commission to myself as the acting CEO.
Would authoritatively speak to matters of corruption in public procurement?
Yes, it is.
Is it authorized to investigate such matters?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Now, this letter, what was the letter asking you to do at page 10 of 19?
The letter was giving recommendations for administrative action against procurement officers, Cosmas Rotich, Anton Chege, and Caroline Mugo, mosquito nets.
Towards the bottom of that letter, Roman 1, what does the ethics and
here abbreviated TEC recommended the award of tender
to Shobika Index Private Limited to tender as clause 20.3, which provided documents to be paginated using indelible ink and marked sequentially.
Does that paragraph you just read show there was corruption or wrongdoing of any type in processing this tender?
It does, Honorable Speaker.
And who was benefiting from this manipulation of the tender?
Shobika.
Is that the same company that the Deputy President's company, Crystal, is the local agent?
Yes.
Given those series of events, would it be fair for anyone to suggest the Deputy President did not have a hand?
I would say Shobika was irregularly being recommended for award of a tender without meeting the
The Deputy President was awarded a 3.7 billion tender.
I was not in KEMSA, whose core function is to procure.
Yes.
The technical teams would have proper understanding of procurement procedures and therefore would not make such, would not recommend award of a tender to a company where they are glaring failure to meet the criteria.
Given the contents of your affidavit and the phone calls will come to from the Deputy President at this sense, would it be fair for anyone to suggest this matter on page 10 was just another connection to the Deputy President?
I don't think it would be.
You don't think it would be fair?
Don't think it would be a coincidence.
It is not a coincidence. In your estimation, say, would a fair-minded person faced with the facts you have so far taken as group think it was a coincidence that a company linked?
The Speaker, Honorable Senators, I think having had the advantage of interacting with the documents that are before us, I think I would say from the record, delivered as a mail and not as part of the tender document.
Page 8 of 19 of still volume 8A, towards the bottom, involving this Shobika Impex, the company linked to the Deputy President.
Which page? Answer.
That would be page 8 of 19, Roman 1, says the one we saw on the other.
Corruption Commission, that the Director Procurement Impex Private Limited, on the 24th of February 2023, prior to the tender opening date, which was on the 10th of March 2023, contrary to tender instructions for tenderers number 21.3.
Please confirm whether the Deputy President in his public address on the 7th confirmed to the Republic that he placed phone calls to you with regard to this tender.
Yes, he did, and in my affidavit I have as well alluded to the same, that he called me to follow up on the release of the bid board.
Do the duties of the Deputy President of the Republic extend to placing calls on junior government officers about tenders?
To the best of my knowledge, no.
But did the Deputy President also admit in that public address that too in paragraph 4 of your affidavit?
Yes.
You have also said, besides the phone calls, the son of the Deputy President sent you WhatsApp messages. Have you annexed any of those WhatsApp messages?
Yes, I have. In my affidavit, page 70 of 85.
In those affidavits, in that page 70, who is the person indicated as sending you the message?
Dr. Ikino Rugadi.
Who does he say he is contacting you on behalf of?
Tells me that he's contacting me. He asked me to contact him when possible. There is a document for His Excellency that he's trying to collect.
Was this document in your possession at that time, or where was it?
The document of the L Alliance.
So the Deputy President and his son are pressuring you to surrender a procurement under active investigation by the Ethics and Corruption Commission.
Yes, Your Honor.
Would that be interfering with active criminal investigation?
Pressured because the documents were not within our custody, and
have you placed any evidence before the Senate to confirm these documents the Deputy President and his sons who are harassing you to surrender were actually under the custody of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission?
Yes, I have submitted my letter to the CEO, Ethics and Corruption Commission, asking for the bid board documents for Shobika.
We have
at page 73,
page
73 of 85.
Page 73 of 85.
Yes.
Can you read the relevant part, which I believe, one, if I'm not mistaken?
Yes, 72.
Can you read the third paragraph? What does it say?
I've written to Shobika.
Yes.
Telling
Let's begin with 72. What did you tell Shobika?
Paragraph 2, we would like to inform you that the subject tender is currently under investigations and all the documents related to this tender are for release of the bid bond.
And the one in...
Through a letter dated 12 June 2023.
And the one in 73, in summary, what were you trying to do?
I was requesting the CEO, the Ethics and Corruption Commission, for the bid bond request that I informed him of the letter that we had received from Shobika, requesting for the bid bond.
So, given the magnitude of when he was harassing you to know that the matter was under investigation and active investigation for that matter?
I want to believe so.
The allegations against the Deputy President transcend the force to the ridiculous. That ground 11 of this motion is false, ridiculous, and embarrassing.
By document presented.
I want you lastly to read from your paragraph what you told the National Assembly bringing us here. Can you read paragraph 6 of your affidavit, sir? This is page 69 of 85 of volume 1, Mr. Speaker.
Says, given the status, power, threat and influence of the people involved in the interference of treated mosquito nets, I was constrained to surrender. I was caught in a tricky situation. Being a junior, there was nothing I could do as a junior government officer against the sitting deputy president for the Republic of Kenya.
That's all for purposes of the examination in chief of this witness, Mr. Speaker.
Counsel for the Deputy President.
Good evening, Mr. Mulwa.
Good evening.
My name is Devan Jiro. I'll be asking you several questions in respect to the testimony that you have just delivered. When did you join the KEMSA?
I joined KEMSA on the 17th of March 2023.
Before that, who was the CEO of the organization?
Ramadan.
Were you there as and when the alleged tender processes were taking place?
No.
Who was in charge of that process as at then?
Terry Ramadan.
Terry Ramadan.
One, there are issues that
were you told or you saw? It's a simple question.
I was not told. I was involved.
You involved? At the time you joined the organization,
there were investigations.
The tender had been terminated.
Yes.
You therefore never participated in that particular process whatsoever, for whatever purpose, yes?
I participated in a very big way.
All right. Would you then lead this assembly to understanding your participation in that tender?
I participated in the investigations on this tender.
So
by
you participated, excuse me,
by PPRA, by the Senate, by the National Assembly.
But that joined.
I was not in KEMSA.
And therefore the issues you are testifying before this assembly are not issues that you witnessed.
Not issues that are executed.
Thank you. Now, what was the status of the tender at the time you came or you joined?
I actually joined KEMSA as a result of this tender.
No, I'm not asking why you joined. What was the status?
The tender had been terminated.
The tender had been terminated. Do you know of any company that is associated with the deputy president?
Shobika had been recommended for award, but since it was cancelled, did not proceed.
Was the award granted to Shobika?
No.
Do you know why the award was not granted?
Yes, I know.
Yes?
View of every evaluation of global fund funded tenders, and after doing a pre-award review, they did not.
So it's as a result of the review of all the bids that culminated into the cancellation of the tender, correct? I cannot remember because you never participated. Yes? Yes or no, Mr. Witness?
If I get the record, I would remember.
Also show him the records. He has it. Show him his affidavit in volume 1. In that volume 1, that is at page, Honorable Senators, the National Assembly volume 1 at page 67 and 68. Did you?
I did not indicate the companies that.
You chose to conveniently refuse to indicate them, correct? Correct or not correct? I don't need an explanation.
Not correct.
Why didn't you?
It's premised on.
Okay, I know you affidavit.
Yes.
I have read it several times, but my question is very specific. Why did you leave out the other companies that participated in the process?
For purposes of my affidavit, I do not find it necessary to.
Never thought it necessary. Now, confirm that Shobika company was never ever awarded the tender.
The tender was cancelled.
Tender was cancelled. Did the Republic of Kenya lose any money as a result of the award not being granted to Shobika?
Yes, it did.
Did the Deputy President have anything to do with it? Did he have anything to do with it?
A company related to.
I'm asking, did he have anything to do with it? It's a simple question. Yes or no?
I already have.
Yes, and you'll furnish me with an answer.
I've said yes because the company that is associated with him had been irregularly awarded.
Had been irregularly awarded. Do you know that this matter was referred with me to page 183, volume 3 of the Deputy President's bundle. Volume 3, Honorable Senators. That is the report. Will go with me to page volume 3. Tender, yes? At page 220.
Yes, there are some 17 bidders.
How many are they?
17.
Go to page 221 and you read, can you see what is written 100?
Yes.
Can you read out that statement?
In its report dated 25th April 2023, Global Fund bidders met the minimum requirements.
None of the bidders met the minimum
requirements.
How many bidders did not meet the minimum requirement?
For
Shobika was not an exception. It never qualified, correct?
Yes.
Now look at where we have page, paragraph 105. Yes, can you see where we have Roman B? So we have B. Can you see B? 105.
5. That the bid bond for Shopika Index was not paginated, and the management of KEMSA argued that the bid bond was not part of the bid, but was rather an accompaniment.
Not thinking, reading, and understanding.
It means, and I had said exactly the same, that this document was not submitted as part of the tender document, but was brought in as ordinary mail, while in normal procurement, bid documents should be, notwithstanding KEMSA reservation in the letter dated 4th May, the acting director procurement commended the termination of the process.
Yes? The CEO of non-responsiveness of all the bids, correct? As a result of non-responsiveness.
Yes, after Global Fund differed with the KEMSA technical.
Shake that to the Deputy President?
I am not competent to talk about that.
I am asking, do you associate that process with the Deputy President in a court, seeking to save the life of a man who was being impeached? Do you associate that with the Deputy President?
Everything to do with the Deputy President. Because the bids were terminated by Global Fund as a result of irregular.
7 at page 22 once again. Or 222 once again. Yes? 107?
It says it was further a testimony that the authority had struggled to maintain autonomy owing to undue interference from the cabinet.
Page 219. Can you see where you have C submissions by Ms. Terry Ramathani?
Yes.
Therefore, these are statement correct?
And I would not say whether they are correct or
read.
They are Terry Ramathani.
So we understand he is now speaking at page paragraph 47, correct?
Yes.
Read it then.
It was further the testimony that the authority had struggled to maintain autonomy owing to undue interference from the Cabinet Secretary for Health.
The authority had failed to maintain autonomy due to the interferences by?
Yes, that is Terry's statement.
Read it.
By the Cabinet Secretary for Health. Or disowned.
I'm asking.
It's not my statement.
Have you seen that statement speaking to the person of the Deputy President?
It is not. Thank you. Mine.
And it speaks as to who was interfering with the processes, correct?
That's not my statement.
Read.
But it's not mine.
Yeah, I know it's not yours.
That's why I cannot own a statement that is not mine.
I have not asked you to own it. I've asked you a simple thing, to read the statement as indicated. Who was interfering with the processes and the autonomy of KEMSA? According to that statement.
Not it carefully.
Let's proceed as I finish up. Let's go to page 226. Assembly, Parliament saying,
in the late April,
he
learned the acting CEO, which is me.
Who was that?
Me.
What did you learn?
I learned in late April that the Global Fund pre-award review report that the airline tender was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the bid evaluation.
Do you still maintain the position that you gave, or you want to?
It's exactly what I said.
President whatsoever, correct?
I think you are wrong.
What did you say?
You are not right on that one.
Read, what does the statement say? What did you say? What did you say?
It was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the evaluation. It is the inconsistencies in evaluation that recommended an award to a bidder that
I have asked you that question that you are attempting to answer. I have just simply asked you to read what you stated before Parliament. Then a question will follow. And you read in verbatim.
I have read.
Yes, read it again.
I learned that the Global Fund pre-award review report that airline tender was to be cancelled on account of inconsistencies in the bid evaluation.
And what was the reason for the cancellation?